All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here for our Stories of Hope. My name is Nicole Richard. I have been with Plexus for 3 years now. And before we get into the amazing stories, I just want to do a little side note. Plexus does not cure or um,
Are we gonna have a bloopers reel?
yes. I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going with it. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. So these stories are amazing, and I want to let you guys know that these products that even though we're all here by healing our gut, and um, we are still going to have a bloopers wheel. There's gonna be one night where Nicole was gonna mess up, and it was gonna be tonight. It's all good. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna stop talking. But no, Plexus, it focuses on gut health. And everyone that is going to be here to talk tonight is going to share about how these amazing, incredible products have changed their lives in different ways. Okay. So the products do not cure or prevent any diseases. It is a great buddy system. It is here to help us in so many ways. So the first person to kick us off for our wonderful Stories of Hope evening is Miss Cheryl. And so I completely fumbled for you, Cheryl, so you don't have to worry about that. You're good to go, girl.
All right, can everybody hear me? Good, okay, this is terrifying. First of all, hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here. I started my Plexus journey in July of 2020, so still pretty new at it. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about all my little small wins that have ended up in big results. A little background info. First of all, I'm coming to you from Ontario, Canada. So hi, there's another Canadian on here. Maha, hi. I work at a hospital. I'm a lab technician. I run around and poke people with needles all day and night. During a pandemic, it's stressful and scary. Direct exposure all the time. I have 4 little kids who are awesome and crazy. So there's that. The reason I started on the Plexus after stalking my good friends, my old friends, Sarah and Amanda, was I just didn't want to feel tired and crappy. And that was the only reason that I started. So I ordered the packages. I've got all these notes that I'm ignoring right now. Within a couple weeks, I started feeling better. Just in general, I felt like I had a little more energy. I took a before picture, which I swore that I would never tell anybody. And then after about 3 or 4 weeks, I took another picture in the exact same outfit. I hadn't lost any pounds yet, but there was a huge difference in the way that I looked and felt because all that inflammation was heading on its way out. So then I started to really work at it. Gave me the confidence to work at it. Started working out, participating in all the challenges that Sarah puts us through. They're fun, but challenging and hard. I found an ab muscle the other day in the mirror. It was very exciting. There's just a bunch of little differences that I was noticing when I was working my night shifts. I would come home, go to bed, and I would wake up and actually be able to function. Whereas before I would wake up, I would momby around the house and then have another nap before I go into my next night shift. So that was a small win, pretty big win actually. I don't really know what else to say. Like I just have more energy, and it's just, I play with my kids more. I'm nicer to my kids because I don't feel like crap all the time. I sleep better. I actually sleep a lot less than I used to, but I get better sleep. All these little small wins, they've resulted in the big one. I've lost 19 pounds now, and it was an unexpected win because wasn't my initial goal. So thanks, Amanda, for that. I don't even know what else to say. Like it's the products, they weren't a miracle cure for me. They were just kind of a wake-up call. I like to tell my husband, because he takes them too, I like to tell him that they're a support system in a journey to a better lifestyle. So, and that's what they've done for me. They've changed me. And I never expected to be sharing them as much as I am. I actually hit a senior silver this month. Yay. So originally it wasn't intentional. So now I'm kind of trying a little harder to see if I can go for gold. But that's coming. I have the help of an awesome teammate here, Maha. She is killing it. And yeah, I'm going to look at my notes, see if there's anything I forgot. But no, I can't think of anything else. I'm not good at being on the spot. So
Yeah, Cheryl, that's totally okay. Yeah, I am so amazed with your crazy work schedule. And you have 4 kiddos
yes.
and you're getting less sleep, but it's better sleep. So you're able to function.
Yeah, that was a huge thing for me. Huge thing. Because
I think definitely, oh, there's one. Hello.
that's my daughter, Maggie. Hi.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi.
now.
Hi.
Okay, he thinks it's This is my second oldest right here.
Hello.
Okay.
I remember that feeling of, wow, didn't sleep very much, but I'm quite alert. So that is a huge, all these little wins are really big wins.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that part of it has made a huge impact for me, especially because I do work a lot of night shifts. And with the kids being at home during the day, whenever my husband's working, any little bits of sleep I can get, if they're quality sleep, I can function better, right?
Yep.
Whereas before I sleep like 10 hours and I wake up feeling just as tired as when I went to bed.
Yep.
So that's been a huge thing for me.
I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, no, you're welcome.
You did great. So much
thank
better.
you. I was
You did
terrified.
Hey, it was awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, Maggie. Maggie's
Okay.
reading all the messages here.
Oh. Okay. So thank you so much, Cheryl, for sharing. And I'm going to switch the mic over. We're actually going to go back to our lineup, ladies, because we got Miss Sam on. So I'm going to switch it over to Sam.
All right. Hi, everybody. I didn't know if I was going to make it, but here I am. Okay. So, I mean, my journey starts a long time ago. I've always struggled with hives, and no one was able to tell me why. Like since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, that was my first episode. But as they occur or as they have occurred, they've just gotten worse. And so I had a few times where I thought maybe viruses were causing it, and it was just like inflammation. And but almost 3 years ago, on July 4th of 2018, the hives and inflammation in my body was so bad that I just kept passing out. Like I just couldn't stay conscious. It was really bad. So I went on 3 different antihistamines, prednisone, My body wasn't responding to any of it. And so it was just like shutting down. My doctor had never seen anything like it. It wasn't just like little spots of hives, like it was my whole entire body. So he ran some tests and I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, but he didn't quite understand the link besides inflammation. He even contemplated giving me an EpiPen, but he just like, I wasn't actually allergic to anything. It was just my body fighting against itself. So autoimmune in general is my thing. But those, that particular incident, like hive length was 6 weeks. And so it was, I mean, I couldn't walk. It was just terrible. I have 3 little kids and I homeschooled them. So it was not a good time. Luckily school was not in session, but so after that cleared up, I was like, great, I'm gonna get my life back. We bought a house. And so in all of this, we're moving and it was stressful. And I thought I had everything under control, but by the time we kind of got in the house and settled down, I stopped being able to eat food. Everything made me nauseous. I felt much better not eating anything. And my symptoms, besides the hives, were just getting worse. So I wanted to approach things more holistically. I was on medication for Hashimoto's and I just felt worse. My body was not responding to that either. So I went on the autoimmune paleo diet, which if you're familiar with that, you don't eat much. And I ended up eliminating more foods in that diet than adding back in. The goal is to like figuring out like what you can eat. And I just continued to eliminate foods to the point of like, I think I ate chicken and broccoli and sweet potatoes for a very long time. So the start of that, I lost about 50 pounds in 2 months because I just wasn't absorbing nutrients. So that's when my sister-in-law, Chrissy, was like, hey, I'm doing this. I've done all the diets. Like, we actually need supplements. And I was like, yeah, I know. I just really wanted the food thing to work. Like, we should be able to work with our food. And so we did it together and I was all in. The one thing I have to say is going into it, like it was this or like I had nothing to lose, but also everything to lose. Like it had to work. So, I mean, I have a whole list here, honestly, of symptoms: joint pain, headaches, dizziness, extreme brain fog. I ended up quitting my job because I couldn't do numbers anymore. I couldn't remember people's names, even if I knew them really well. Weakness, depression, anxiety, night sweats, hair loss, numbness, extreme fatigue, electrolyte imbalance. My body wasn't taking in the water that I was needing. Chills, muscle cramps, irritability, neck pain, chest pain. I had it all. There was probably more, honestly. So it just consumed me. This was my everyday life. By the time I got on the couch at night, it felt like I had a fever every day. I was just like chills, and by 6:30 I was done. So yeah, I started with BioCleanse, ProBio, and X Factor. I couldn't even take X Factor Plus. We just basics. I couldn't tolerate Slim. I took little bits. I think it took me a year to get to a half of a packet. So I was just in really rough shape, but I took those products consistently. I knew what I could take. And I remember there were times where I got out of bed. I was like, I don't know if I can make it back up the stairs, but I'm going to take these products and they're going to work. So that really helped. Abby Wallach, she's in here somewhere. her story really kept me going. If you don't have a person that you can just relate to in that way, like find a story that you've fallen in love with and can relate to, and keep that in your mind. As soon as I met Abby and heard her story, I was like, yep, it's not even the same thing, but like it was extreme enough that I was there for it. So find your person and like have that team. I mean, the other thing that kept me going was this incredible team. I threw myself into just team things. I was like, I don't know if I have the energy, but I need these people in my life because they're what are, what's keeping me going. So any event, I mean, I flew out to Vegas, and honestly, like I could only make it through only so many sessions. And I was like, okay, I'm headed to bed. I'm not partying tonight. So yeah, it was a rough go. Even on the products, let's see, I started January 2019. By April, I was completely protein deficient. My doctor took one look at me and was like, we don't see this in the US. Like it's not a thing, but like, this is you and we got to fix it. So nothing did fix it. I couldn't eat anything. So I just kept going. I was like, nope, it's going to be the products to keep me going. I was discouraged a lot, but my team always brought me back in and was like, no, we're going to try this. We're going to back off this. We're going to increase this. They were really there for me. So I just continued to see signs of improvement, not necessarily what I could eat, but there started being fewer really bad days and more days where I could just see a glimmer of hope. And that's really what I held on to. I came to realize that I couldn't, even though it was like the physical was consuming me, I couldn't concentrate on that. Like we are whole people. I had to look at the emotional, I had to look at the spiritual. Where was I in this life, and how could I connect my brain and my heart and my gut together to work? So I spent a lot of time inner healing. Like, how can I heal my body as a whole? It wasn't just the products. It wasn't just doing all the things. It was really integrating my entire being as a whole person to be healthy. So after a year of almost, faithfully using the products, no matter whatever I could take, I did. Unfortunately, I couldn't take ease. So like that was a big one that takes inflammation away. But November 2019, the symptoms, like all of a sudden I could eat more things, and they didn't disappear, but it was like, oh man, I'm like 50% better. And that was so encouraging. And by, I don't know, the past couple of months, I've had kind of ups and downs, but what I've realized is my worst days used to be my best days. And I couldn't even compute that in my mind, but I was like, man, I'm having a bad day, but like, this is how I used to feel all the time when I was like feeling good. And so Plexus really did give me my life back. I can go on hikes now I used to get to the top of the mountain and like I would just collapse. Like I tried so many things, and whenever I felt better, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try this, and I feel good enough. It should be fine. And it never was. My heart, like I could just be sitting still, and it was like 160. It was insane. So I don't have any heart troubles anymore. I was diagnosed with POTS. I don't have any of that. My electrolytes, I know when they're off, and I know how to fix it. And yeah, these products, this team, I don't honestly know where I would be without them. So that's my story.
Sam, I did not know all of that.
I know.
Is amazing. I think we're all blown away. I am so glad that you were able to share with us tonight because your story is definitely going to reach out to so many people because unfortunately you had so much going on, you know, and look at you now. Like, you know, and you said you were losing your hair. Your hair is so beautiful.
I know, I got all my hair back. Yeah, at one point my hairdresser told me I wasn't allowed to put it up in a ponytail because it cut off wherever it was. And she said it's probably doubled since then. So, and I can put it up, I can do whatever I want with my hair.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited for you. And I'm gonna have to like hear more of your story because there's always like more to there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really, all I could do while I was going through it was go through it. So, honestly, not many people know my story.
Yeah.
Because I had to get better first in order to share all of that. So,
Well, I'm so glad that you did. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we have our next sharer coming on, Miss Shelley. I'm going to hand the mic over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Shelley. I am a rural mail carrier, and this is totally new for me, and I'm really uncomfortable. So forgive me if I stutter and stammer, but we're going to do this. My story started 2.5 years ago. I had extreme eczema on my hands to the point of bleeding, splitting, seeping. It was awful pain. It was disgusting to look at. It was embarrassing. And I had watched friends who had been on the products and was telling their stories and what it had done for them. And I thought, I'm going to give it a try because I've tried the creams and I've tried this and I've tried that. Nothing's working. So I started on the products and it didn't help my hands right away. But after probably, I don't know, a couple of weeks, I was sleeping better, like soundly through the night. I didn't wake up 3 or 4 times a night. Wonderful. And then I realized I wasn't having painful periods anymore. Like I suffered with endometriosis for ever. It would have me curled up in a ball on the floor and just couldn't. And it was gone. I didn't have that anymore. No more painful periods. It was amazing. Every single headache, heartburn, and it was like, oh my God, I haven't taken Tums in I don't even know how long. I don't use them anymore. Wonderful. What else? Oh, restless legs. I suffered with restless legs, but I didn't have them forever. Like I got pregnant with my son, and I had restless legs from then until 2 years ago. And now they're gone. I don't deal with that anymore. It's a thing of the past. My skin finally cleared up. My hands are not all swollen and painful. Bonus, I lost 30 pounds. Wasn't expecting to lose any weight at all. Didn't even, that was whatever. That was just wonderful. Hard to remember everything. I just noticed little things that, wow, I don't have that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's totally okay. So, Shelley, it sounds like you had a good range of things that you were going through. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. And being a mail carrier, your body gets put through a lot. And
Yes.
then when you go to bed, you don't want your body to be moving, and having restless legs makes it hard to sleep. Your body. So that's amazing that sounds like you're also getting a good night's sleep.
Everything is just that I'm a beast. I have so much more energy, a better attitude. Yapping at my son about nonsense because I can just let it go. It's okay.
That's really good. It's amazing because we like we start these products, we go through our daily lives, and then sometimes it hits us, oh, I can do this now, and like, your worries are going away and the pains are going away, and it becomes to be like this huge thing, and it's like, oh my goodness, I now can do this. And I think a big thing for you, it sounds like, is that um, the painful awful periods are finally gone, because I'm sure that was awful.
I didn't think anything would ever help. I had surgeries, I had shots, I had done all of the things.
Yeah. How long have you been on the product?
2.5 years.
Yep.
I started out with just triplex and added Vital Biome because I needed that for anxiety and depression, which is also a whole lot better. And I added X Factor Plus, and that helps with a lot of other things. So it's just amazing.
That is wonderful. I'm so excited for you. What would you
Thank
say?
you.
You're welcome. What would you say is your favorite product that you're taking right now?
My Vital Biome.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it helps your mood.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That is a huge thing, especially nowadays with everything that we're going through.
Yes. Yes.
Um, uh, I am so grateful that you were able to share with us, and thank you so much for being one of our mail carriers. My husband's a mail carrier, so he knows what you're going through. Is there anything else you can think of you would like to add?
No, not at this moment.
No, that's okay. Thank you so much for sharing. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so I am going to hand the mic over to our last sharer, Miss Melissa.
Hey, thanks guys so much for having me. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to hear our stories. We all think they're amazing, so we hope you guys do too. I have quite a few stories, which is kind of awesome, but I'm only going to share my one son, and he actually kind of gets the shadow because his story is not as strong as some of our others. So I don't really think I've ever told his story, but he's my 18-year-old Brant. Started out when he was 4. When he was younger, he's autistic. He's on the spectrum. He's very high functioning. So even looking at him, you can't tell that he has autism, but you can tell when you know him and how he behaves and what he does. But as a toddler, 4 years old, he was in occupational therapy, speech therapy, developmental therapy. He went to a private school for special needs when he was younger. He didn't start talking until he was 4 years old. He did the flapping hands, repeating words, mouthing words. He did a lot of the typical things that children with autism have. He didn't have many behavioral issues, but we were very active and proactive with how we took care of him. He's been in counseling since he was 5, just to understand life and how it was going around him, because he didn't. Things that we take for granted, he thinks of in a totally different way. So he had to be taught basically how to think the way society does. At 6 years old, he did go into public school. We did streamline him, but he started late. We held him out longer so that way he can get an extra year in with the private school and with all his therapists to make sure that he was strong enough to be streamlined. It went well. I can't complain too much. He wanted to learn. He had a lot of potential and a lot of growth inside of him, and he pushed himself. So that was awesome. Um, After 6 years old, things were tough. We're struggling. I mean, it's an autistic child, so things are not always pretty. Raising him, I don't know how I had more children after him, to be honest with you. He was tough. um, at 11 years old, he started having suicidal thoughts. I thank God his autism was in place for that, because one of his tics that he had was that he would repeat things out loud and he didn't know he was repeating them. So we learned a lot of his secrets just because he said them in his head, but he didn't know he was saying them out loud. One of them being suicidal thoughts. My other son, Evan, overheard him. I was actually at my friend Monica's house when that happened, and Evan came running into me and, of course, told me, thank God he did. So after that came more doctors, more therapists, tests, and even more tests. Boy went through so many years of testing and people asking questions and just prodding into his life and how he thinks. And it was tough. It was its own struggle in itself. And then came the meds. I am not a proponent of medication, even though it has its time and its place, but I'm not a big proponent to push it on kids. So I'm not gonna lie, I was not actively on him to take it daily. It scared me. So he had anxiety meds and depression meds, seeing counselors weekly. He actually had meds at the school that were being applied to him, and it didn't seem like it worked. And then he got to the point of he didn't like it, and he started hiding it. And though the meds weren't in the bottle to count, he wasn't taking it, and I can tell from the way he was behaving and how he couldn't handle life. And it didn't mean that the meds were helping. It was just that they calmed him down to kind of zombify him. I had started Plexus in 2017. Hey, my 4 years is coming up. So in 2017, for my own issues, about 3-4 months into it, he came up to me and he's like, Mom, tell me about Plexus. And at this time, he was 14. And I'm kind of glad he did, because at this time, his dad and I were discussing, do we put him on disability now? Because if we get him on disability at 14, it'll be easier at 18, because he can't function. He can't take care of himself. I have to scream at him to shower. I have to convince him and manipulate him just to do certain things in life. And most people say, oh yeah, that's teenagehood. Yeah, no, go spend a week with somebody who has ASD and a teenager. You'll think different. So when he asked me about Plexus, he's like, well, just tell me how this can help me with what I have helped you with what you have. So we sat down and I told him, like, okay, you take medications from a doctor from a lab that are made to open your brain to get the serotonin and the dopamine flowing. The problem with that is it's chemicals. It's made in a lab. It's made by humans to help the brain. But when 80 to 90% of your serotonin is coming from your gut, all those chemicals are clogging your gut. So you have to take more medication. You have to take different cocktails of medication. And now you're up to 3 or 4 different kinds that only work for a short time before you're switching. He's like, okay, so what would Plexus do? Plexus cleans your gut. It cleans out the junk. It makes it good. So that way the serotonin and the dopamine would flow freely to your brain, and you don't have to worry about opening your brain because your gut is letting that go. He looked at me and like it was yesterday, his eyes like were pleading with me, just, can I try this? Can I do this? So I told him, I'm like, look, if we do this, we do have to be serious about it. It can't be like your meds. You have to be consistent with it because it's going to cost me money. Your meds were covered by insurance and I only paid a small copay. So I told him I trusted him in this and he agreed. He did it. He's 18 years old now, a senior. He is more than functioning. He's working at Home Depot. He's going to school. He's been a youth leader for a couple of years. He now helps kids who are his age and younger who are in bad situations and bad homes. Though COVID's made it a struggle and it's been harder, he has dreams of being a teacher, to work with kids, to do things like that. And it gives us hope. It gives us we're good. We're okay. We know he's going to be all right, and we know that he can take care of himself. And I don't have to worry that he has to be on disability or can't take care of himself or can't take care of a family that might come along. And it's because of Plexus, and he sees the difference and he feels the difference. He knows the difference. Oh, and by the way, he is one of my ambassadors. So it's coming full circle, and he's going to go with it too.
No words. I'm like trying not to cry. I am like I think it was Amanda that said you did a great job, Mama. And that is definitely like Plexus is a huge buddy system, but it was the way that you educated him on it and you explained to him how it works. You know, you were a huge part too, Mom.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
he's definitely a good kid. And
yeah.
The best part was when he was probably about a year in, he sat down on the table and he's like, Mom, this is the clearest my brain has ever been. And it was actually enough to slow him down to be able to think. Because you can talk at him and say something, and you can see the thoughts going through his head so fast that he couldn't catch one to say anything.
Right.
But now there's no problem. Now he just talks too much.
Oh my gosh, that is wonderful. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm definitely blessed.
Yep. Yeah. Wow. I don't even, I'm really happy for you guys. That's really good. Oh, wow. So as you all can hear from all of these ladies, these stories, these 4 stories that were told tonight about they're all different. And from the physical to the mental and how the brain functions, it is incredible how these products do so much. It is. It really is. We're all so grateful that you were able to be here to listen in. And please reach out to the person that shared this video to you, that invited you here, because they love you and they want the best for you. Until next time, we all give you big hugs.
Thank you, everyone.